The average young man today is unhappy, he's sick, he's lonely, he's depressed, he's anxious. And the honest truth is that nobody has ever told him the real solutions to his problems. But let me take you back a very short memory lane, right? Because 2 years ago, no, 3 years ago, I started to coach a particular young man. Long story short, this young man died. It's not his death was very, very painful because just around the corner of his death, right? He was expecting what a daughter, and in his note, he had written a note to himself saying that if his daughter comes out alive, that will be the last year he would ever touch a single drug. But guess what? By a few weeks to his daughter's death, he tried out a particular drug, and that was the end of his life. And that shit got me hard because around the same time, there was a book that two of us were reading together. We were revising because when I'm coaching people and you're reading a particular book, you basically have to explain to me the concept to get from that book. And each time we jump on a meeting or we discuss about the ideas from that book, there was always a light bulb that lit up in his head. And the book was Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Now, I don't have a copy because apparently somebody has stolen a copy from my shelf. I don't know why people steal books, because think about it. The book is free, right? If you take a free book, do you think you would ever spend your time to read it? So I don't know how people are that delusional. So back to the talkers. He took the book, right? And we're dissecting this book day by day. Now let me tell you how powerful this book is. If you have ever read this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, that was a book written by Napoleon Hill that sold millions of copies all over the world. Even till this day, it is still selling. But guess what? When he wrote Outwitting the Devil, that book was so powerful, and the message in that book was so powerful that he was afraid to release that book. He died. His own wife was afraid to release that book. The only reason the book got released is because the rights of the book left the family. Somebody basically got hold of the copy and released the book. And the crazy thing is that the message in that book is so powerful that even till this day, it is just as important, because that book is a book, I would say, it is timeless. So think about you see people who bash Napoleon Hill. I said, no, forget the messenger. Look at the message. You see, basically, right? So what's really happening to the young man these days? It's called drifting. Napoleon Hill calls it drifting. Now, drifting just basically means is you don't know where you're heading to in life. And because you don't know where you're heading to in life, everything you do is hollow. Everything you do is shallow. Everything you do leads to no purpose, leads to no drive, just keeps you in the same spot. Now, fast forward to today, what does it look like? I'll say for the young man today, it's simply just called distractions. Now, if you ever see people who are drifting with their cars on the show, think about it. They have no direction they are going towards. All they know is that they charge their car at a particular angle, they throw the weight of their body, they charge at a particular direction, stop to watch the vehicle swing and entertain people. But the reality is that all those efforts that's being used, it leads to no direction. That's what's happening these days. And I want you, as a young man, to basically understand that this particular advice is not an advice for people that were born 10, 20 years ago or 75 years ago when he wrote the book. Because most books these days are basically what? Trash. I'm telling you, that is one book that if you have and you revise that book back to back. But now, I don't have a copy. I'll have to shoot this video again. I'm shooting this video because I'm basically coaching guys again. And I'm obviously saying this thing over and over and over again. Most guys don't know what to do with their life. And basically, that's just the real problem. So the real problem is not because of you are chasing women or you are addicted to drugs. Literally, there's a research when it comes to addiction. In the research, they put rats. They gave rats cocaine water. Rats drank that water until they died on the spot, right? But in the same experiment, they did something else. What happened was they gave the rats cocaine water, but on the other side of the experiment, the rats could see his friends playing. You could see that they had food to hunt. The rats would taste the water, get addicted, but will still go back to meet his friends and then do what rats do. And what they're basically saying is, it basically reminds me of this book that came beside me, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He says that this is somebody who went to prison where they were killing people at a crazy rate. But guess what? He said that one thing got me here that gives me shiver in my spine is that the people who survived the camp the most are people who felt like they had something to live for. What that means is the whole idea that you have something to live for makes you look forward to a better tomorrow. Like if you ask an average young man today, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? Now, obviously there are other factors to consider, but I was just asking, if you had to choose right now, where would you want to be in the next 5 years? I can bet you're going to hear something very, 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 very shady. And this happens in every area of his life. And think about it. I'm telling you this. If you ask yourself right now, what do you want to be doing in the next 5 years? I can bet you most likely you have a fuzzy image about it. If I ask you, give me the top 5 things or give me the top 3 things you are looking for in a partner, I can bet you will stammer. And if you're stammering, think about it. If you're not clear on what you want from a partner, you're not clear on what you want from yourself, think about it. How is it possible that you will learn anything good when you have not even given it serious thought? This thing gets me crazy every single time. And I'm very grateful that my life did not turn around by accident. I remember when I listened to Jordan Peterson every single day, and one particular line sticks to me, and the point sticks to me. It says that, now, you don't get anything good by accident. Anything that's worth that people get by ambition and drive, you don't get by accident. Now, it says that you do what you aim at. You might get what you aim at, and your aim keeps getting better the more you aim and progress towards it. What it's basically saying is, if you don't make your own life intentional, it is guaranteed you're going to end up in a place you don't want to be. It is guaranteed. Now, the thing is that, you see this that put on his book, I have to make a video where I'll basically bring out bullet points of everything one after the other. Because the same thing that, the same environment, the same points that he gave over 70 years ago is still valid today. For example, is how your environment, where you live, where you stay, right, around you is very important. Those things, they lock you what is called into a rhythm. Now, speaking of a rhythm, I tell guys, one thing that my MMA instructor tells me is, when you're learning how to fight, you learn to establish a rhythm, and you learn, most importantly, to break that rhythm. You see, because that rhythm controls our life. Literally, like, you cannot escape a rhythm. It's not possible. A rhythm does, so this is it, right? As we go through life, we begin to have thought patterns. Those thought patterns become fixed the older we grow, simply because we become much more narrow-minded, because we have, it's like imagine having to think about where you place your car key every single time you step out of the house. Well, if you have a place where you put your car key, you automatically don't have to think about it anymore. This is just a car key. Think about that happening to every area of your life where everything is fixed. Now, that is literally your mind playing you right now, because at that moment, your life is fixed. So now what he's saying is that rhythm you're locked into is the real problem. And that is where the real drifting happens. If you don't know what you want, you drift. And your environment, now, think about it. When you're drifting, what are the things you do when you drift? You begin to what? Talk to women that don't respect you. And you follow women that don't respect you when you drift. But now, when you don't drift when it comes to women, guess what happens? You know what to do. And because the best dating advice when it comes to men these days is self-improvement. Now, if you know what you want in a woman, but it will be easy for you to align yourself to know what to do to attract such women to your life. But guess what? They never tell you this, because these dating gurus, they want to create a complex system for you to sell their course. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, we're giving you free knowledge, but it is what it is. That's what I do. That's what I really love to do. If you probably notice, I don't have a link to directly book me for now, because I have like a lot to do. So people who I help are people who reach out to me on other platforms. So back to the conversation is, what else? Your friends are people who lock you into that rhythm. What that means is, if your friends are not going anywhere in life, and this is very important because life is difficult, and it becomes easier the more we have people to share the hard times with. And the more we have people to share the hard time with, the more it feels easier. But guess what? Most of your friends that came into your life, they came into your life because of a condition. Now think about it. How many of your friends did you intentionally select? How many friends did you go with the idea of, I think I like the way he talks. I think I like the way he presents himself. I should make him a friend. Now, most of the time, it's just, okay, we stay in the same area, let's be friends. These friends, they will lock your mindset in that particular rhythm. Then, speaking of the drugs, again, the irony is that he said something that, right, all these things starts from his observation. It starts from what? Drugs. Well, he said smoking, but look at it, drugs. That drugs was the one that hit the nail on the head. Because the moment you start taking drugs while you're drifting, there's almost no going back. And at that moment, it was very powerful, because this guy had sworn that if his daughter was born, literally, he would stop that smoking because of what his daughter. It was too late. So this particular story, I have been afraid to tell it because it's not my story. I don't want to make it be like, oh, he is profiting off the story of somebody else. No. That's what I want to do. But I feel like if young men don't get this message, then there's a problem. So think about it. What's the real solution? The real solution is for you to actually have a direction. So the guy who is drifting left and right has no direction. What is the opposite? Fucking have a direction. You have direction by living life intentionally. Pick a goal, pick a vision, be obsessed. Literally, like Victor Frankl said, think about it, the people who commit suicide, right? Look at, for anybody to commit suicide, one thing has to be guaranteed, that tomorrow can't be positive anymore. There is nothing to live for anymore. That is the reason somebody will take his own life. Regardless of the situation, even though you're owing people, you're owing the mafia boss, that there is nothing ahead of you for the next day. Think about it, and him, Viktor Frankl says, the people who survived a concentration camp were people who thought to themselves and said, you know what, I have something to live for. I have a loved one I want to see. I have a family that I know that I'm separated from them right now, but guess what? I want to see them tomorrow. That was just all. That was what kept them alive. Their loved ones. And the whole irony of this thing is that because these days I feel like the men these days are only focused about money, money, money. No one's ever focused on what is called the purpose, and literally that is it. It's just something that's so grandiose out there that you can't achieve. Right? That's why I'll tell people that if you have not found your purpose or your calling yet, just start with any goal. Start with maybe a financial goal, or start with solving a problem in your life. Think about it, right? Distractions and drifting are different sides of the same coin. So think about it, the more obsessed you are about the vision you're trying to create, the less distractions you have. And the more distractions you have, the less obsessed you are. Ask yourself, what do you want? And this book is a book that I would advise every single man to go out there to read. So the advice is pretty simple. Have a goal. And importantly, by the time you see yourself achieving goals, because if you're just starting out, have just one goal you're working towards, right? But the beauty of it is, at some point, I can't tell you the particular point, this is why sometimes guidance is needed. At some point, you may need to create goals in every area of your life. Now, if you're young, 16, 18, 17, leave girls alone, leave women alone, and for real. This is one advice that guided me through life. My dad literally helps me right now. That one, I'll give it to my dad. You see, at a young age, leave women alone. Pick one goal. That one goal may not even be to get money, but just get fucking proficient in something. Just climb one dominance hierarchy. Just find out something you can do and you can do well as early as possible, right? The whole idea is that you want to prevent your mind from drifting. And the irony is that some people, I've seen people who follow the advice, they make money, 5 years down the line, they get distracted, they drift. So that means if you keep having, and this is a book that people should keep going back to over and over again. I've read that book 3 times, and every time I read that book, it's almost like, is the modern man blind these days? But then again, I also remember that when this guy released the book, he kind of realized that the whole world was already distracted. The person who wrote the book felt like this book is so powerful, it will sell out when people get it. But guess what? The person who released the book kind of realized that no, most men are already distracted. It's already too late. So the point is, for you, my guy, I don't want it to ever be too late. It's never too late. Like right now, you can basically stop your vices. No, you can stop your vices one by one. You can start from right now. Your solution is just to have a goal you are working towards. Because having a goal will direct your mind, basically. And guess what? That is the real core of self-improvement. You have a goal you're working towards, and you are solving every problem within yourself to get to that goal. That is the whole idea of self-improvement. Fuck all those habits, fuck all those agendas, fuck journaling, fuck meditating. If it does not help you solve a problem that leads to your goal, it's basically useless. So my name is Tony Roye. I basically create content to help young men get ahead in life, to basically help young men to stop drifting in life. If I really, my advice, right? The advice I give is to help young men become happy, to help young men find themselves within, to help young men get rid of this idea that just because you are a young man, you are born to feel guilty. No. My content is to help young men feel empowered in themselves. My goal is not to tell you, oh, buy my course if you want to be healed. No, that's not my goal. So my name is Tony Roye. Like I said, I create content. I want you to share this video with somebody who will find it very helpful. That acts to make sure that the video gets pushed to more people into the algorithm and makes me realize that I'm helping more people down the line. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.